This is why I need a new mic.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me take you back to a time where parks were black and white, and meandering around with GoPro strapped to your tits was nothing but a pipe dream. A time where Merlin has no say when you can or can't go to a park, because you, sirs and ladies, are worthy. So let's take a hop, skip, and a jump into my DeLorean DNC-12, and let's get to it.
Oh. Hello everybody and welcome to the Backseat Blackout Show. Again. Yep, as you can see we made it to the second episode and we're still going. So basically what I'm going to do today is it's a bit of a history lesson and hopefully you geeks are going to lap this up. I'll be splitting this into a little subspecies, sub-series. Because, you know, it's going to be quite heavy and I don't want to put anyone to sleep like I did with the last episode. My fiance lasted about 33 seconds and we don't want that. Nobody wants that, do they? So for the first part of this series we are going way back, and I mean way back to the 1600s. An era where the Great Plague took the lives of 75,000 London people, an era of English Civil War, and an era where some rascal Pocahontas saved John Smith so he can make his world famous beers. Okay, I made the last part up. So, believe it or not, the history of the roller coaster arguably began in the 1600s at St. Petersburg in Russia. This may seem like an unlikely place for the birthing of something with this much history though, but actually it does make a lot of sense. So we have quite possibly the world's first ever roller coaster under the alias of Russian slides. These slides, however, probably have more in common with today's water slides than actually with roller coasters. So these are fairly tall wooden structures, often tearing to heights of over 70 feet, with a steep descent composed of snow and ice. Guests would then climb to the top of these structures with a sledge-like vehicle, slide down and have a proper moist time. These were so popular that even Catherine II of Russia basically built one in her back garden. Imagine being the Queen, having all that power, building your own little theme park in the garden. I'd put a Schwarzkopf looping coaster here, I'd put a Wild Mouse XXL coaster here, and I'd put a load of flat rides everywhere, and then I'd call it Winter Wonderland. So it wasn't until the year of 1812, however, until we saw roller coasters becoming a bit more roller coaster. Les Montagnes Rouzes Belleville, sorry if that is incorrect, I cannot pronounce anything these days. This was constructed in Paris and featured carts which were securely locked onto a track. This enabled a plethora of possibilities for what these attractions would be capable of in the future. In comparison to the Russian slides back in 1600s, these looked much more attractive with some really stunning architecture. Around this same time, there was a similar scenario happening over in the States. So many S's. Nearby the town of Morschchunk in Pennsylvania began the conversion of a coal transportation railroad. The railroad ceased operation in the 1870s, only to be converted into what is technically we know as a roller coaster. This continued to thrill guests all the way until 1938, and here is where the true innovator of what we know as the roller coaster today steps in. Now this is where things really get interesting. Pioneers Marcus Thompson and his fellow inventor John A. Miller invented what is, I believe, the first true wooden roller coaster at Coney Island, and this is the Switchback Railway in 1884. Now these are a lot more what you would expect a roller coaster to actually look like. If you just take a look at the support work here and realise that even over 100 years on, manufacturers are still building wooden coasters that look like this. It's pretty mad. And I know this coaster doesn't look the most thrilling, but this surely is the most innovative coaster that was ever built. Sadly, none of the Switchback Railways actually exist anymore. We can still appreciate the impact that they made on the world of roller coasters. Because of the invention of the Switchback Railway, it created an insane boom in the roller coaster market, with 2,000 coasters alone, apparently, built in the States in the 1920s. 2,000. That's crazy. The Flipflop Railway at Sea Lion Park was the first inverting roller coaster that opened in 1895. And this was sadly, yet understandably, very short-lived. As you can see from the footage, the shaping of the vertical loop has changed a hell of a lot over the years. On Flip-Flop, the shaping of the loop is a perfect circle, and because of this, riders are subjected to about 12 Gs, which is f***ing mental. Obviously, this came with a lot of consequences, such as neck problems, whiplash, and of course, blackouts. 7 years later, this coaster was removed due to lack of popularity, and honestly, I am not surprised. This thing looks absolutely lethal. As you can see, vertical loops these days tend to be more tear-shaped to enable a smoother balance of positive forces. Because, no one wants to die, we don't like that. Along with the popularity of Thompson's Scenic Railway models, it was time for the UK to have a taste of the roller coaster. Incredibly, and I urge anyone who hasn't already checked this out to visit Dreamland Margate to ride a fantastic piece of history, the Scenic Railway, UK's first ever roller coaster. The video shown here is a restored variation of the coaster, as it was in dire need of repair after fire damage from an arson attack. Thankfully, the restoration has kept it true to its roots, also still keeping the brakeman to travel along with the train in order to slow it down, which is always exciting. Unfortunately, with the world going into Great Depression following the years of World War I and II, parks and coasters lost a great deal of popularity. And it's here where I will end the first episode of World's First Coasters, in which I will return with the Renaissance period. Until next time, ta-ra a bit.